So we've got a special segment here today. We have a visitor with us, which is actually pretty unusual.
It was hard to find the spot. We had to circle the building like 3 times.
Yeah. We're also underground.
Well, it's highly confidential. Yeah, I mean, we don't. People they sort of know that this space is buried deep underground, but they don't know exactly how far, how long the elevator ride was to get.
It was
down
pretty
here.
long.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're joined by Sascha from Asus, and he's brought with him all the latest in ZenBook as well as ProArt, and I've been getting some demonstrations, some pretty, like, specifically this model that I have in front of me on the desk here. Some stuff that I really haven't seen before, not done exactly in this way. And specifically, I'm talking about the display. So this display is kind of wild. I'm looking at 3D, no glasses, and I'm able to, with head tracking, get this 3-dimensional representation of a variety of objects. Not just objects, because I was also watching the Avatar trailer at one point there.
Right. So the way it works is it uses a lenticular lens filter on top of the whole screen. And essentially, every pixel has a tiny lens in front of it. And when you turn the 3D effect on, so you can switch between 2D and 3D. When you turn the 3D effect on, it turns into this checkerboard pattern where every other pixel is now talking to either your left eye or your right eye. And that's what makes it look 3D. That's what gives you that illusion of 3D. And it's really cool. It's really something else. So first time internally as well, when we heard about it, we're doing, like a laptop with 3D panel. We're all like, really 3D? But it looks really, really cool when you see it, because it really pops out of the screen without wearing glasses, and it looks like a hologram. Like, it's technically not a hologram based on how it works. Like, our engineers were like, don't call it a hologram. But if you want to explain to somebody in a few words what it is, it's kind of like a hologram. It pops out of the screen. It's really volumetric, and you can try to grab it, and it's really trippy. Your fingers just go through it, but you feel like it's right there.
Yeah, and so this term volumetric, it's a perception, and when I'm watching by the way, people that are looking at this image via our camera are not appreciating the capability at all, because they're just seeing a dinosaur on screen here that looks pretty normal, but it's actually obviously stereo. We need 2 eyes in order to appreciate it. This is a thing that you're gonna see in real life. But the difference between the 3D object and the movie trailer, quite significant.
Yeah.
So the movie trailer, as we were referencing, it's kind of, we can spot the layers almost. And that's not really the full potential. So you start to think about the history of 3D, and you're like, well, it was like the real buzz for a while, and then it kind of went away. And you start to wonder about how it plays a role in the future. We start talking about creation, content creation, but also even product creation, product prototyping, all the ways in which it can be utilized here in order to better represent an object, maybe even prior to 3D printing. And so maybe there's a new avenue for 3D that isn't just strictly around content consumption.
And yeah, so for the history of 3D, or I think any tech, like most tech, if you look back, it kind of comes in waves, and it goes away, and it comes back again, it goes away and comes back again. And for 3D, we had several waves. And I do believe right now it's on a downturn. It's still there for specific applications, but for mainstream, it's kind of gone away. But I do think it's going to make another comeback in a couple of years with this kind of 3D, because if you can really have a TV in your living room and something pops out of the screen and you can watch it together with your friends and family, that's mind-blowing. That's like sci-fi stuff. Who wouldn't want that, right? So I do think there's going to be another way for 3D for content consumption. But like you said, that's not there right now. Right now, this is really cool and interesting for people who are working with 3D files and 3D objects. And you can technically see everything on a 2D monitor in 3D, right? But there's a reason why people are so crazy about 3D printing stuff. And they love 3D printing and doing prototypes for 3D prints, because it gives you a different feel. It just clicks. When you look at it, you can touch it and everything. And this is kind of in that direction. You really see it in 3D. You can rotate it around, and you can have 2 different 3D models and then merge them and move them around and see how they connect. like you know, proteins, like medical stuff, or an MRI scan. If you have to do a surgery, you can like kind of see where you go through the artery or something like that. Or yeah, like mechanical engineering. You're gonna prototype something that you're gonna print out different bits and pieces. How do they fit together? How do they connect? You can do that on this, and you don't have to wear anything. So you can do that with like a HoloLens, with a VR headset. There's many different ways of getting that. But you know, this, you don't have to wear anything. It's just there, right in front of you.
And again, people can't fully appreciate it on the video here, but it's like, imagine that this object that we're talking about is sort of like out here. And I don't know if the camera I'm looking at is even seeing this, but like imagine it's right here instead of in the display, because that's how it's perceived without glasses by us. So I think that's probably why, like, we're imagining creators. We're imagining people that are making things. And that's why the technology goes into the ProArt series.
Yeah.
And because maybe you can tell us a little bit more about this series and this laptop specifically and who it's for.
Yeah, we're going to have this display, the spatial vision display in the ProArt and also in the VivoBook. And the idea is kind of like the VivoBook Pro, the creator laptop that you can buy for yourself. And then the ProArt is our flagship creator laptop that probably your company or university is going to buy, and then you get to play around with it.
Yeah, and I realized we didn't mention this, but this is a 3D glassesless capable display, but it doesn't interfere with the OLED performance outside of when you're using it for 3D. So it will just seamlessly switch and essentially look like an OLED panel when you're not using the 3D functionality.
And that's kind of a new thing. So this kind of lenticular lens system is not new in of itself, and also for panels. So if you guys remember, maybe as a kid, I as a kid had like a ruler, and you can like twist it around, like turn the angle, and then you would see different images, like something would be moving on it, and you see different images. That's the same kind of principle for this. It's just tiny, tiny lenses, and they're all over the screen. So that was possible before, but then you would always have this checkerboard pattern, and it was very distracting. For 3D, it looked cool, but then if you're just watching a regular video or just browsing the internet, you would always have this checkerboard pattern. That was not cool.
And the resolution of the display is a 4K?
Almost 4K. It's 3.2K. So it's a QHD, Quad HD, but you know, like there's so many different versions of Quad HD.
Sure.
Almost 4K, 3.2K. And then, so basically, your left eye gets half the resolution and your right eye gets half the resolution, but both still get the full 120 hertz.
Well, you guys are doing all types of exciting stuff. And I guess building up to CES, you're going to be over there showing off some of these technologies. And eventually, these are going to be available for purchase. I presume we're going to have to pay a couple of bucks for that ProArt with the 3D. That's going to cost a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
But you're not going to say right now.
Yeah, I actually don't know the price. So they don't tell me, so I can't tell you.
You also told me that the new ProArt mouse is going to beat out my Logitech mouse. I was like, I don't know. That sounds pretty ambitious. He didn't say that, by the way. That was me that said that. But it does have a cool dial, like never mind one dial on the side. How about two? Now I have Will's attention.
Bring it up. I want to see.
Now I have Will's attention. It's very smooth as well. Like,
bring it over to your face.
There you go, Will.
Okay.
I have Will's attention with a mouse. We're all enthusiastic about different things, aren't we, Will?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Sascha. We really do appreciate having a visitor. It's been lonely down here underground. However many stories down we happen to be, which I'm still trying to figure out. I hit a different button on the elevator each day, and somehow I still end up in the exact same place. We'll see you again. So the samples that were featured in this video actually feature a specialized custom 30 series GPU. And this is just because they're early models. Actually, the GPUs are hardware disabled for preview purposes. But when these things eventually ship and you guys can buy them, obviously they're going to have next-gen GPUs in them, and that'll be at some point in 2023.